Hi, Crazy Joe here. It is April 2017 as I'm recording this. It is April 22nd, 2017 as I'm recording this. So we are a few weeks shy of the 10th anniversary of a movie that I really, really love and wanted to talk about because it doesn't get the attention it deserves. It's kind of been forgotten about. Not that it ever was a huge hit, but on April 6th, 2007, 10 years ago, a movie that I love came out. And that movie is right here, Grindhouse. Grindhouse, the double feature by Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. I really went out of my way to see this on opening day back in '07. I really was excited about this movie. And I happened to be on a trip to Florida with my parents. My dad wanted to retire to Florida. And my mom was reluctant. So my dad decided he was going to rent a house in this retirement community called The Villages. Some of you may have heard of it. And he wanted to take my mom to live there for 2 weeks so she could get a feel for what it would be like being retired here. It's just a couple problems. My mother will not get on an airplane, and my father had recently had some back surgery, so he couldn't drive. So I spent 2 weeks in a retirement community because I was kind of their chauffeur. I had to drive them to and from Florida. So that was an interesting 2 weeks. But it happened to be when this movie came out. Now, the Villages have two movie theaters in the retirement community. Neither one of them were showing Grindhouse. I guess it was a demographics thing. I guess they figured the retirees at the Villages wouldn't be interested in this, so it wasn't showing there. But I really wanted to see it. And I was in a retirement community. I was in my 30s. Not a lot there for me to do. I was kind of bored. So I didn't really mind making the drive to go see this. So I had to find the closest theater in Florida showing this movie and drive to the theater. It was about an hour drive. And like I said, I was kind of bored. So it wasn't that big a deal that I made that drive. But I loved this movie from the get-go. Now, to those of you who haven't seen it, it's available in a couple different formats, but this is the only one you should be watching it in. It was released and it was intended to be a double feature. There is a movie called Planet Terror by Robert Rodriguez, followed by a movie called Death Proof by Quentin Tarantino. They're designed to go together. There's a couple characters that kind of cross over between the two movies. It includes fake trailers, including the trailer for Machete. I'm sure you're familiar with the movie Machete. If you don't know Grindhouse, Machete starring Danny Trejo started out as a fake trailer in this movie, and then Robert Rodriguez went and made it its own movie. But the fake trailers include a movie called by Edgar Wright, fake movie called Don't, and an Eli Roth like Halloween knockoff called Thanksgiving, and there's a Rob Zombie one about werewolves in World War II. I don't remember what that one was called, but it was all designed to go together. So one of the great tragedies of this film is it was not a hit in the movies. So the distributor, Dimension Films, decided to recoup their losses by releasing the film on two separate DVDs. Instead of putting out one DVD of Grindhouse, which is how it played in theaters, they put out discs of Planet Terror and Death Proof separately. Not the way they were designed to be seen, and you lost all the fake trailers and all the little gags that kind of ran in between. It was two incomplete projects. They did not have an option to buy the movie as it was presented theatrically at first. So, well, as you can imagine, a lot of fans were pretty upset about that. Fortunately, sometime later, I think it was over a year. I think we waited over a year before they put out the theatrical version, which includes both movies and all the fake trailers and everything on Blu-ray. And you can still get this Blu-ray today, as far as I know. I don't think it's out of print or anything. But this is the way the movie's supposed to be seen. And if you are in your travels, you should find the individual releases of Death Proof and Planet Terror. They, I don't recommend picking them up. That's not how this movie's supposed to be seen. This movie is a lot of fun. And it's supposed to replicate old Grindhouse films of the 70s, which I'm going to confess, I don't know too much about. I mean, I was 3 years old in the 70s, so wasn't going to those kind of movies. I haven't seen too many of them, but one of the gags is scenes are missing. The film is intentionally very crackly, and there's scratches on the print, and it's made, both movies are made to look like the print's old. And then there's plot points that you don't even find out what's going on because the scene's missing. And that's the joke. It's supposed to be that way. Like, a character will be about to tell you something important to the plot, and then it'll just say scene missing, and they'll come back and everyone will be like, well, now we understand because now that you've explained it. So the audience doesn't get that information, but it's supposed to be that way. So I really love this movie. I can't believe it's 10 years old. It doesn't feel like it's been 10 years, but this is a terrific movie. And of the two segments, the Tarantino segment, Death Proof, is my favorite of the two. I've heard a lot of people say that they prefer Planet Terror. They're both really good, but I like the Death Proof better of the two. So, Grindhouse, if you haven't seen it, I can't recommend it enough. Keep on wearing those pajamas.